Ever noticed something strange? The people who love the hardest, the people who stay loyal, the people who give everything, sometimes they're the ones who get cheated on. Not the toxic ones, not the careless ones, the good ones. So the question is, why does that happen? Why do genuinely loyal people end up betrayed? And here's the uncomfortable part. It usually has less to do with you and a lot more to do with human psychology. Let's talk about it. Picture this. You meet someone. At first, everything feels right. You listen to them, you support them, you show up for them. You remember their birthday. You check on them after a bad day. You make them feel safe. You're not perfect, but you're real. Months go by, maybe years. You build routines together. Morning texts, dinner plans, inside jokes. You think you're building something solid, something rare. Then one day, something feels off. They start replying slower. Their phone suddenly becomes private. They seem distracted, colder. But when you ask about it, they say you're overthinking, you're being paranoid. So you ignore the feeling because you trust them, because good people don't want to believe bad things about people they love. Until one day, you find out the truth. They cheated. And suddenly your brain goes into overdrive. What did I do wrong? Was I not attractive enough? Did I stop being exciting? Was I too nice, too available, too loyal? You replay every moment in your head, trying to find the mistake. But here's something most people don't realize. Sometimes, the reason someone cheats has nothing to do with how good you were.
Let's break down a few uncomfortable truths about human behavior. Because cheating isn't always about love. Sometimes it's about psychology. First truth, familiarity can slowly turn into invisibility. In the beginning of a relationship, everything feels new. Your brain releases dopamine, excitement, curiosity, mystery. But over time, predictability replaces novelty. And some people confuse comfort with boredom. The same loyalty that makes you a great partner starts feeling normal to them, expected. They stop noticing the effort, not because you stopped giving it, but because their brain adapted to it. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Humans adjust to good things quickly. What once felt amazing starts feeling ordinary, and some people chase novelty instead of appreciating stability. 2. Some people need constant validation. Here's another uncomfortable reality. Some people don't cheat because they're unhappy. They cheat because they need attention, compliments, desire, proof that they're still attractive, still wanted, still exciting. When a relationship becomes stable, that external validation decreases, not because you stopped loving them, but because love becomes quieter, calmer, more secure. But for someone addicted to validation, calm feels like something is missing, so they seek that rush somewhere else. Not because the relationship was bad, but because their ego needed fuel. 3. Being too good can expose someone's insecurities. This one surprises people. Sometimes the more emotionally healthy you are, the more uncomfortable insecure people feel. Your loyalty highlights their instability. Your honesty highlights their secrets. Your calm exposes their chaos. And instead of rising to your level, some people sabotage the relationship because deep down, they don't believe they deserve something stable, so they destroy it before it becomes real. Not consciously, but psychologically.
Here's the insight most people miss. Cheating is rarely about finding someone better. It's about escaping a feeling, escaping boredom, escaping insecurity, escaping accountability, escaping themselves. And the painful part? Good people often stay longer in bad situations because they believe love means patience, understanding, forgiveness. But sometimes loyalty becomes self-abandonment. You keep proving your love to someone who stopped valuing it a long time ago, and by the time you realize it, you've already invested years. But here's the truth most betrayed people eventually learn. Being cheated on doesn't mean you were not enough. Sometimes it means you were dealing with someone who didn't know how to value enough. And those are two very different things. Practical shift. So what do you actually do with this information? Here are 3 mindset shifts that change everything. 1. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's behavior. Someone cheating says more about their character than your value. Their choices are their responsibility, not your reflection. Your job isn't to control someone's loyalty. Your job is to recognize when someone doesn't have it. 2. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. People who cheat rarely wake up one day and suddenly change. There are usually signs, small ones: lack of accountability, constant need for attention, secretive behavior, emotional immaturity. When actions and words don't match, believe the pattern, not the explanation. 3. Loyalty should never mean losing yourself. Being a good partner doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean ignoring red flags. And it definitely doesn't mean shrinking your standards just to keep someone. Healthy love feels safe, not confusing, not draining, not constantly making you question your worth. If someone makes you feel like you have to compete for their loyalty, they were never yours to begin with.
So if you've ever asked yourself, why do good people get cheated on? Remember this. Sometimes the problem isn't that you were too much, or too loyal, or too loving. Sometimes the problem is simply you were giving real love to someone who only knew how to chase temporary excitement. And once you see that clearly, you stop blaming yourself and start protecting your peace. Because yeah, it's all in your head. If this video made you think about someone, or maybe even about yourself, make sure you subscribe to GPG Behind the Mask, because every week we break down the psychology behind the behaviors people rarely talk about.